So my lovely wife, Emily, is doing her charity ride coming up. It's going to be, what is it, 7 days? There's going to be some uphills, some downhills. And you asked for some descending tips.
Yeah, so a refresher. I've been riding bikes for like 15 years.
Yeah, you know how to descend. You want to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You're not running for Tom Pidcock. You're not racing a bicycle. You're not trying to win anything. This is how normal people descend. Step 1, equipment. Now you will not be needing a visit frame for this video because the point is to not crash, but you know. You've got your laser helmet on. Yep. Gloves. Gloves are important for descending practice. And then tires. The answer to tire pressure has changed a lot. Tires, I used to race wet criteriums on 23C tires and 100 PSI. 120 was normal, 100 was when it was wet. That's some boomer shit. The answer to what your tire pressure should be now is less than you think. If you've been riding a long time, look up a calculator if you've got the tubeless things going. So we've got the wider Dura-Ace rims on here and the Kenda 28C Valkyrie Pros, and I just put 50 PSI in there. That's all you're gonna need. So the main thing to keep in mind is to stay within your comfort zone when you're practicing or when you're riding. The pros that you see on TV, they're ripping descents because they're pros who are on TV. I haven't ripped a descent since 2016, which is when I was paid for it. They're on closed roads. We are not. And when pros are just riding, not on television, not in bike races, they're riding just like we're about to. They're riding within their limits. They're riding safely. They're not assuming that they're going to go around a bend and a car won't be pulling out of the driveway. The only crash I've had in the last couple of years was a descent Old Topanga Canyon. There was just randomly a construction site, and a turn that I'd ridden a million times at full speed was wet, and suddenly I'm sliding on my ass. I like to think I'm going to go around every turn at a speed that if I do it 1,000 times, I'm not going to crash, because I will do it 1,000 times. I don't want to crash once. I always tell folks at the beginning of my fondo, you can have 90% of the fun and 80% of the speed. We're going to a descent, a road that we know very well. How many times have you ridden 7-minute hill?
1,000.
1,000. So you go somewhere you know. And honestly, if you're practicing descending, you don't have to go to a hill. You can practice. Descending is nothing more than cornering. You know, you can ride an empty office park, ride around a neighborhood. You add the speed once you have the technique and the comfort down. Top of 7-minute hill. One of them too is focus on one thing at a time. Don't watch 75 videos and a bunch of Reddit clips about descending and try to do them all at once. Learn one, master it, and then pick up the next little tidbit. You look where you're going. You don't look down. Look where you're headed. It helps to have someone that you trust, that you can follow. Do you trust me?
Yeah.
So look at that person who's going to be a few seconds ahead of you and follow kind of that line, but you don't want to focus straight down. That's going to screw you up. You got it? Camera up? I think it's mostly intuitive to take the right line. You go outside, and then as you get into the turn, this is the apex, you do the inside, and then you come out on the outside. That's going to allow you to use all of the road, so more speed, less leaning. This is practice too, but you also know whichever way you're turning, the outside foot is the one that goes down. People know that. I think what they don't emphasize in that part enough is not just is the foot down, you want to put your weight on that foot. So that's what we're going to practice this first lap. You're going to put your weight down on that foot, like pretend you're standing on one leg. And you can also push down on the bottom of your handlebar. So if we're bending left, push down. And what that does is it's not so much, you're not flexing the handlebar in a way to do anything, but it's centering your weight because of the way you're pushing. We're trying to center your weight between your two wheels, tires, and bike overall.
So outside foot, outside handlebar.
Yeah, just you're pushing that whole side of your body down.
Okay.
So note here, it's not just putting your foot down. I'm pushing my foot. I'm pushing my weight into the pedal, into the ground.
All right, another thing to think about is your upper body, which cyclists do have. You're trying to relax your back, relax your shoulders. Like you've been riding the mountain bike more, so you know this a little bit, but think of your upper body as sort of a shock absorber for the G-forces of the turn. So you can kind of move up and down. You don't want to be super tense, super rigid. So focus on, you're putting your weight down, but you're still relaxing that little bit. On the next lap, we're going to focus on braking. In the US anyway, there'll be caution cars signs, go 25 mile an hour on that speed. A bicycle If it's 25, a bicycle can go a little bit faster, but pay attention to those. Those are there for cars for a reason, and you can also follow them. It's going to be a safer speed than you need on 2 tires being able to lean. So in each bend you go into, you want to err on the side of going too slow for that bend, but you want to finish braking before you get to the turn. So you scrub your speed, and then you go into the turn and you let off. The right brake is to slow down, and the front brake is to modulate the slowing down. So you kind of grab onto that, and then the front brake is you need a little bit more. That's what you're grabbing.
Jesus, are you okay?
Acting.
Oh my, funny.
Get yourself used to putting it in a big gear. Like, odds are if you're about to go down a hill, that means you just went up one. So you're in the smallest gear. If you forget to shift, when you do push down to pedal, you're gonna find no resistance. That can throw you off. So just as that descent starts, even if you're not gonna need to pedal for a while, put it in your big ring. So we're in California. A lot of times, a little puddle here, if there's some runoff, there could be algae in it. A small little bit of water could be a lot slipperier than you think. Try not to be leaning your bike in the water, same as you wouldn't want to lean in sand. If you see a patch of sand, keep the bike straight and keep your body upright in that bit, and then you can get to leaning again. Same goes for the paint in the middle of the road. That paint can be slippery sometimes, more than you think, especially if it gets wet. If it's shiny, that means it's slippery. In the US, a lot of times I got the reflector, the little blinky things right there. Keep an eye out for those. You don't want to hit those sideways. Okay, so to reiterate, are you or are you not Tom Pidcock?
I am not Tom Pidcock. I'm Emily Alvarez.
No offense, Tom Pidcock, that's a tremendous relief. Equipment, checklist. Helmet?
Check.
You don't have your gloves on, that's okay because we're filming a video at this point.
I did have my gloves on.
You did. Tire pressure?
55.
55. That's for your weight. Other people have other tire pressures. And when you practice, do you practice at a speed that you're comfortable with or not comfortable with?
Always comfortable with.
Speed first or technique first?
Technique.
Technique. One skill at a time, or you try to practice everything at once?
One at a time. I can't multitask.
Is the apex on the inside or the outside of the turn?
The inside.
She's doing great. You're doing great.
2 + 2 is 4.
When you're leaning at the turn, which leg is down?
Outside leg.
Outside leg down.
Killing it.
Upper body tense or relaxed?
Relaxed.
Relaxed. And what kind of signs are you looking for going into the hairpins?
Car signs.
The speed
Traffic
limit.
signs, yeah.
Yeah. Slow down before or during the turn?
Before.
This is actually, you're ready to put in the video, shifting at the beginning of the descent.
Is that a yes or no question? Yes.
No, it was your idea, so I don't have to. You don't.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not in the quiz if you tell me about it. And I don't know how to make the last one a quiz. True or false? Watch out for hazards.
True.
True.
Someone recently told me to ride responsibly. So in a way that you are able to respond. So if you're going full blast, you can't really respond to any hazard in the road safely. So, tone it down a notch and be able to respond. I like that.
So how you feeling? You feeling confident? You ready?
I'm totally ready for this.
Ready. Yeah. All right. Have fun. Be safe. Cheers.
Did I win a car?
What?